I don't know if the game capture will work for this game, but we'll see. This is display capture turned on because we're going to be doing a reading playthrough, Sano. So we are going to turn down the voice. So here we go. It better work this time. Yes. See, Sanu, yeah, that was a lot of exposition. Okay, so we get to choose a race. Hure. The Hure are said to have first traveled to Eorzea from her surrounding continents and islands. 3 great migratory waves later, they are now the most populous of all the civilized races. They exhibit a relatively modest physique, both in height and build, and are known for their peculiarly short, rounded ears. Hures are well suited for traveling long distances by foot, a trait thought to account for their swift proliferation. Their espousal of an eclectic variety of languages and traditions is a legacy of their diverse heritage, as is their resulting lack of a unified cultural identity. Elysian. In former times, the Elysian were the sole inhabitants of Eorzea, claiming dominion over her. Traditionally a nomadic people, the tall, slender Elysian believed the realm to be theirs by divine right. Unfortunately, this belief made the eventual appearance of the Hure in their multitudes akin to an invasion, and a long history of conflict ensued. Ultimately, the Elysian diverged into the 2 clans that exist today. The Wildwood Elysian took to the forest to protect their homeland, while the Duskwhite Elysian withdrew to caves and subterrane, opting instead to avoid all contact with any but their own. Lalafell. A wee people sporting short, rotund bodies, the Lalafell appear as no more than children to the eyes of most. Many of these nimble little folk hail from the islands of the South Seas, where they practice a simple agricultural lifestyle. It was not until the opening of maritime trade routes that the gradual migration of Lalafells to Eorzea began. Now, one of the most well-established races in the realm, Lalafells can be found in great numbers in nearly every city. Though Lalafellian culture places great emphasis on blood relations, individuals are known for getting along amicably with members of all races. Oh, who doesn't want to smile when you see that? Who doesn't want to smile? Miqo'te. The ancestors of the Miqo'te made their way to Eorzea during the Age of Endless Frost, traversing the frozen seas in pursuit of the wildlife upon which they subsisted. Adaptation to a hunting lifestyle had fashioned them with a keen sense of smell, powerful legs, and a tail which provides them with exceptional balance. Miqo'te are known to be very territorial, and many individuals tend to lead solitary lifestyles, particularly males. Roegadyn, known for their brawny bills and piercing eyes, the Roegadyn are the largest and most rugged of Eorzea's races. The majority of the realm's Roegadyn belong to the Seawolf clan, a maritime people who earned their keep on or by the sea, be it as sailors, fishermen, or pirates. Comparatively fewer in number are the Hillsguard, who are known for their more earnest demeanors and can often be found working as bodyguards and smithies. Aura. The curved horns. The curved horns and beautifully patterned scales that characterize the aura often give rise to speculation that members of this Hure-like race, native to the far eastern continent of Altard, are, in fact, the progeny of dragons. This, however, has long been disputed, with scholars citing several stylistic differences in the 2 races as evidence of decidedly dissimilar roots. The first and foremost being the enhanced hearing and spatial recognition granted by an aura's cranial projections, traits that attributed to draconian horns. and the second being the gross disproportion in body mass between Auri males and females. Again, a trait widely unseen in dragons. Hrothgar. Hailing from the distant shores of Ilsabard, the Hrothgar are a burly people of lion-like appearance, or the males are, at least. Females number staggeringly. Females number that doesn't sound right. Female number staggeringly few among their population, and thus are rarely so much as glimpsed by the other races. The Hrothgar imposing countenance, mitigated not at all by their sharp claws and still sharper fangs, incited panic amongst Eorzeans upon their arrival. As they were also unable to communicate, initial interactions with the common folk often escalated into conflict. It was not until the Hrothgar gained mastery of the common tongue that feathers were allayed, and in time they would be as neighbors, welcome in all corners of the realm. Viera. Of tall stature and slender frame, the Viera's physical appearance is strikingly similar to that of the Hyr and Elizin, save for their distinctive long ears. Adhering to a strict code known as the Green Word, they are prohibited from contact with the outside world under the threat of exile. Their society is purely matriarchal, and males of age are seldom, if ever, found within the bounds of any village. They instead serve as protectors of the wood from the shadows, that no evil may ever encroach on their sacred lands. Wildwood. For hundreds of years, the Wildwood Ellison have lived in the relative safety of Eorzea's lush forest. With the formation of Eorzea's governments, however, many Wildwood ventured forth from the forest, drawn to the exhilarating cosmopolitanism of nearby Grenadia. There is minimal dimorphism between the two genders, though males are generally considered to be milder and more chivalrous in demeanor. Among their dusk-white brethren, Wildwood Ellison are referred to as Greens for the love of the forest. Duskwhite. Centuries ago, a number of Elizins sought out a life of peace and seclusion in the depths of Eorzea's caves and caverns. Today they are called the Duskwhite. Told to their Wildwood cousins, they are known simply as the Greys, after their preference for darkness and stone. The cave-dwelling ways of the Duskwhite persist, with some among them turning to robbery and pillaging to survive, earning them the scorn of their woodland relatives. There are few differences between the genders, but Duskwhite females are often regarded as being the more passionate and unyielding of the two. Helone, mover of glaciers and goddess of war, is the guardian deity of Ishgard. She commands the element of ice and is associated with the first moon of the Eorzean calendar. Helone is the daughter of Rhaegar and a bitter rival of Nuffica. She is most often depicted as a relentless warrioress armed with a bronze great shield. Her symbol is the three spears. Menfina is a keeper of the moon and the goddess of love. She commands the element of ice and is associated with the second moon of the Eorzean calendar. Menfina is the sister of Azima and the divine lover of Oshon. She is most often depicted as a maid carrying a round skillet. Her symbol is the full moon. Taliak, the ruler of rivers and wisdom, and a god of knowledge, is the guardian deity of Sherlian. He commands the element of water, and is associated with the third moon of the Eorzean calendar. Taliak is the father of Limlin, and the teacher of Byragot. He is most often depicted as a reserved scholar holding an ashen staff. His symbol is the scroll. Numea is the watcher of celestial bodies and goddess of fate. She commands the element of water and is associated with the fourth moon of the Eorzean calendar. Numea is the younger sister of Altic and master of Rhaegar. She is most often depicted as a weaver donning a white silken veil. Her symbol is the spinning wheel. Limlin, watcher of the seas and goddess of navigation, is the guardian deity of Limsa Laminza. She commands the element of wind and is associated with the fifth moon of Eorzean calendar. Limlin is the daughter of Taliak and the elder sister of Nuffica. She is most often depicted as a strong fisherwoman wielding a long-bladed harpoon. Her symbol is the wave. Ocean is ruler of the mountains and god of travelers and vagrants. He commands the element of wind and is associated with the sixth moon of the Eurasian calendar. Ocean is the brother of Naldatal and the close companion of Halone. He is most often depicted as a carefree ranger wielding a bow of yew. His symbol is the walking stick. Beauregard. Beauregard is the purveyor of architecture and industry and god of the arts. He commands the element of lightning and is associated with the seventh moon of the Eurasian calendar. Beauregard is the elder brother of Halone and a pupil of Thaliak. He is most often depicted as an ardent smith with a two-headed hammer. His symbol is the hand. Ragar, breaker of worlds, is the god of destruction and the guardian deity of the now fallen nation of Alamigo. He commands the element of lightning and is associated with the eighth moon of the Eurasian calendar. Ragar is the father of both Beauregard and Halone and serves as an attendant to Namia. He is most often depicted as a magus carrying a staff of bronze. His symbol is the streaking meteor. Azima is keeper of the sun and goddess of inquiry. She commands the element of fire and is associated with the ninth moon of the Eurasian calendar. Azima is the daughter of Altic and the elder sister of Infina. She is most often depicted as a noble lady holding a golden fan. Her symbol is the radiant sun. Naldathal, the overseer of the underworld and god of commerce, is the guardian deity of Ulda. He commands the element of fire and is associated with the 10th moon of the Eurasian calendar. Naldathal is the single manifestation of the deific twins Nald and Thal. He is most often depicted as a discerning merchant holding a balance. His symbol is the cowrie, an ancient shell currency. Nofika, tender of soils and harvest, and goddess of abundance, is the guardian deity of Gridania. She commands the element of earth and is associated with the 11th moon of the Eurasian calendar. Novika is the daughter of Azima and the younger sister of Limline. She is most often depicted as a jubilant farmer holding a scythe of steel. Her symbol is the spring leaf. One more. Altic is the surveyor of change and space and god of time. He commands the element of earth and is associated with the 12th moon of the Eurasian calendar. Altic is the father of Azima and Minfina, an elder brother to Numia. He is most often depicted as an austere emperor wielding a mithril great axe. His symbol is the hourglass. The bustling commercial hub of Uda sits amid the desolate desert landscape of southern Aldina. I can barely read the text here. Udan culture is known for its affluence, and the wealth of the nation comes in a large part from its abundant mineral resources and cloth crafting industry. Do is the Sultana who claims sovereignty. True power is wielded by the Syndicate, a council set by 6 of Ulda's most elite and influential. Nalda is the nation's patron deity, and the 2 great halls devoted to his 2 aspects lie in the east and west of the city. On the southern coast of the island of Vilbrand, under the shadow of ancient cliffs, warned by the relentless onslaught of the Rotano Sea, lies the Talaksocracy of Limza Laminza. Its economy is driven primarily by shipping, but boasts lucrative shipbuilding, fishing, and smithing industries as well. To maintain the safety of its maritime routes, the city employs a formidable navy known as the Knights of the Barracuda. Even so, pirate bands run rampant in nearby waters, reaving and pillaging. Gladiators specialize in the handling of all manner of one-handed blades, from daggers to long swords, be they single or double-edged, straight or curved. A defining characteristic of the art is its emphasis on diverse combat tactics, training its members to bring them martial skills to bear in any situation. As such, there are practitioners who marry sword with shield, seeking to defend their fellow companions. Others opt for an empty offhand, choosing instead to focus entirely on their sword arm. In all instances, the ages-old art of the sword makes the gladiator a formidable adversary in any encounter. Pugilist. The path of the pugilist is one of incessant training aimed at mastering the traditional techniques of hand-to-hand combat. Though they command formidable power when unarmed, they are wont to use metal, leather, and bone weaponry to maximize their destructive potential. Their preference for fighting at close quarters makes negotiating distances an absolute necessity. This is why many pugilists are quick to learn that lightweight gear, allowing for maximum agility, ensures them better success in battle than does cumbersome plate or chain. The Marauder is a combat specialist whose weapon of choice is the Great Axe, a fearsome arm emblematic of Erz's pirates. Their approach to battle is one of brute force, relying on strength and steel to crush enemies and sunder weapons. They are highly sought after their ferocity and intimidating presence, and are often employed to hunt down monsters plaguing the land, or to turn the tide of battle between warring nations. The strategy of lancers is to outrange and fluster opponents with their long, two-handed polearms, peppering them with a barrage of thrusting attacks. They are trained with a number of weapons, giving a diversity to their attacks that makes them extremely versatile combatants. In former times, the long spear saw the most widespread use, due in great part to the influence of the proud Lancer regions of Alamigo. Since then, the guild has greatly expanded its armories to include a variety of weaponry, such as the halberd and the trident. Archer. The enduring popularity of the bow is a testament to its elegant design, but this simple weapon could be little worth without the surpassing skill of those who master it. The archers. Projectile techniques such as the high-angle fire enable archers to assail their foes with deadly precision, even at great distances. Constant assessment of the battlefield enables them to carefully determine the most advantageous ground from which to loose, as well as the nature of the arrows best suited to their enemy. Together with the longbow sentries of the Elysian military, the shortbow hunters among the Mikoti are widely regarded as the most skilled with the bow. Conjurer. Conjuring calls upon elemental forces present in nature and concentrates them to a potency at which spells can be woven. Through practice meditation on the essence of creation, conjurers draw forth and absorb aether from their immediate surroundings. A wand or cane made from unworked wood is then utilized to focus the aether until it manifests as the desired spell. The seat of the Conjurers Guild lies at Stillglade Fane in Gridania, where the voices of Erozia's elementals are said to be the most powerful. Thaumaturge. In the hands of a skilled practitioner, thaumaturgy can be a force of terrifying destruction. At the heart of this school of magic lies the ability to call forth and command the latent aether within oneself through deep introspection. To then mold that aether into sorcery, the thaumaturge makes use of a scepter, or staff, within which is housed a medium, a natural stone imbued with magical properties. Arcanist. Adepts of the art of arcanium derive their might from symbols of power, born of geometric techniques hailing from across the southern seas. Held within occult grimoires, these symbols lend shape to the arcanist's aether, thereby allowing him to produce myriad powerful spells. Using the self-same symbols to unlock the latent power contained within gemstones, arcanists are also able to summon forth the familiar known as carbuncle to carry out their bidding. See, this is the thing I was kind of worried about, the Q. So we cannot really change it, so we're gonna go with this one here. So they were not kidding about the Q being that bad. What? That's it? Hear, feel, think. What just happened? Hey! Hey, you! You alright, lad? You were moaning something fierce for a while there. Feeling the effects of the Aether, I reckon. You'll get used to it, though. Don't worry. You there! Halt! What's this? What's all this about? Inspection. Men, search the carriage. I'm just an honest peddler, friend, so don't be too disappointed if you don't find nothing, eh? Mind your tongue, old man, lest I cut it out. Sir, look! Somnus! Honest peddler, was it? Since we do honest peddlers deal in prohibited herbs. You're in a lot of trouble, old man. You'll run in a dungeon till the end of your days, unless you can afford the fine. Business as usual. Whoa! Amalja! Amalja! To arms! To arms! Seven hells. Consider this as a warning. Now go! All of you! That kind of excitement ain't good for the heart. You be careful around them brass blades, lad. Bastards have the shirt off your back before they fancy it. Like common bandits, they are only less honest. Thank the gods for sending some beastmen to the rescue, eh? Hey, seeing as we still got a long ride ahead, you mind keeping me company till we arrive? Them youngins don't much care for a conversation, see? Brent's the name, and peddling's me trade. And judging by your unusual garments, I'll wager you're one of them new adventurers. I knew it! Going wherever the wind blows, seeking fortune and glory. Now that's what I call living. So long as you can avoid dying. I mean, it's no secret that adventure is a risky business. These days, especially. What was it that first you attracted to it? What was it that first attracted you to it? What was it that first attracted you to it? To win glory. To win glory. Glory, eh? Well, if you're willing to take on them tasks as other folk ain't, an adventurer such as yourself can win fame what coin can't buy. When you arrive in town, you'll want to report it to the Adventurers Guild. You can find everything you need to know about the adventuring business in there. Just remember though, there are more important things than fortune and glory, such as breathing. Ain't no profit in being dead, and that's a fact. By the by, is this your first trip to Ul'dah? Yes, it is? Well then, let this journeyed iteran tell you the ins and outs of your destination. Ul'dah, ruled by the Sultana in name, but as most folks know, the Syndicate holds all the real power. them and their monetarist cronies would happily get rid of her grace altogether. But that won't happen while she still commands the loyalty of the royalists. And the royalists are nothing if not loyal. These factions have long fought over power, throwing the weight of their wealth against each other, and they show no sign of stopping. Of course, the lizardmen, that's the Amalja, couldn't care less about the Olden politics. They have their own interests. See? And they ain't afraid to use force to serve them. They say war is a gift to peddlers, need breed and profit, and though it shames me to say it, I'm inclined to agree. Ah, at long last. Behold, Ulda, jewel of Danalan, where folks turn sand into gold. And here's where we part ways, lad. I'm off to the markets to deliver me wares. Then it's on to the high road for me. Here, I want you to have this. By the way, of thanks for putting up with me prattle. You never did tell me your name, though. Hey, but here's an idea. Become the sort of storied personage I can brag about having met, and I'll consider us square. Good first impression game. Oi, adventurer, over here! Hey, I mean you. Fresh off the carriage by any chance? Eh? How can I tell? Ha! Oh. Name is Women, and my business is known every bugger else's. Now then, what if I was to offer you some invaluable advice by the way of welcome to our fair city? Free of charge, even just this once, like. This plain to anyone with eyes that you don't know your way around here. If I let you go wandering off down the nearest dark alley, you're certain to get mugged. Or worse, and I don't want that on my conscience. So before you do anything else, you'll want to head over to the quicksand and speak with Mamodi. She's the master of the Adventurers Guild and can set you on the right path. Just take those steps over yonder and pass through the double doors. You'll find her inside. And that's as much as you're getting for free. Good luck with the adventuring, adventurer. Hello there, who might you be? If you're looking to join the Adventurers Guild, you've come to the right place. Name's Mumudi, and I own this fine establishment, if it pleases you. I also manage the Adventurers Guild here in Uda, so you might say that looking after green adventurers like yourself is my vocation. And lucky for you, that is, without someone like me to steer you right, you'd soon find yourself out in the middle of nowhere, caught up in business you don't understand. Like our conflict with the Amaja, for example, they've been plaguing the Sultanate for nigh on forever now. Then there's the Garlean Empire. None can say for sure what they're planning these days, only that they are. Aye, the people drink and make merry, but underneath it all there's worry. Worry and lingering feeling of loss. And little wonder, it's scarce been 5 years since the lizard moon cracked open like a giant egg.
releasing an abomination intent on turning the realm into an eighth hell. So much was lost in the blink of an eye. 'Twas like the end of the world had come at last. But then things begin to get foggy. Everyone's got their own version of what happened next. Some of them, 2 or 3. You'd think people would remember something like that, but the fact is, they don't. Nobody does. There is one thing the survivors agree on, though, the part played by a band of adventurers who laid their lives for a realm that wasn't their own. They fought valiantly, and like so many others, they never returned. Deeds worth remembering, I'm sure you'll agree. It's just a shame our recollections of those brave heroes are as jumbled as those of the calamity itself. Whenever we try to call their faces to mind, it's like they're standing between us and the midday sun, permanently silhouetted. I'll bet that sounds poetic to you, doesn't it? Well, it's not. It's bloody infuriating. But even if we can't remember them, we'll not let them be forgotten. And so we call them the Warriors of Light. And they'll forever stand as a shining example of what adventurers can achieve. That's why I welcome new arrivals, like yourself, to our fair city. All I ask is that you lend a helping hand and try to leave Ulda in a better state than you found her. If you can promise that, I'd be happy to let you join the guild. Alright then, a promise is a promise now. I'm counting on your help to put the past behind us. We need people working and spending and bickering like the old days. And a happy and prosperous Ulda means more business for the quicksand, too. Any road, let's make this official. Go ahead and write your name in the register, neat as you can. EnioHabev, well, it got a charming name. Just rolls off the tongue, it does. Mr. Habib, on behalf of the Adventurers Guild, I officially... Please,
Sir, be merciful. 12 is my witness, I swear to you, I'll bring you your money. In the East, it is said that even a merciful god might be driven to vengeance if tries blaspheming. I'm not doing that high voice again. It's hurting my throat. Be grateful you were given a fourth chance to offend. You two, attend to this scum. No, please, mercy. Well, ain't that a sorry sight? Nor an uncommon one, if I'm honest. Don't worry though, if you work hard, I doubt you end up like him. Just the same, if you ever need a bit of advice about one thing or another, pay me a visit. Just don't go bother me every time you stub your blade toe. Alright. Of course, I do enjoy hearing tell of a gentleman's woes with the womenfolk from time to time. Any road, welcome to Ulda, Enio. Take a moment to catch your breath, and I'll teach you a little bit about our fair city. Oh, you don't say. I do need to catch my breath. Before you go charging off to find your fortune, I have a few basic tasks I'd like you to perform so as to help you get to know the place. First of all, I want you to visit the Theodate Plaza. To get there, head west from here till you reach the Emerald Avenue. Then look to the north. You should see a giant floating crystal called an Atterite. If it weren't for Atterites, traveling around Eorzea would be a damn sight more troublesome than it is. Of course, you still need to attune with them before you can use them. So be sure to do that with that one in the plaza. You ever tuned with an Atterite before, Enio? If not, just lay your hand on the thing, and you'll see what I mean. When you've done that, I want you to pay a visit to the Gladiators Guild over at the Coliseum. Assuming that sword ain't just for show, you might consider training there. And finally, I want you to visit the Sapphire Avenue Exchange over on the steps of Thal. Goods from all across Eorzea and beyond turn up there every day. You have no trouble finding armor, weapons, or anything else a fledgling adventurer like yourself might need. You might say that everything's for sale here in Ul'dah, as long as you've got the gil. Just make sure you don't pay more than you thought of, Enio. There's plenty as won't scruple to swindle unsuspecting foreigners like yourself, especially if they think no one's looking out for their best interests. Which is why I'm giving you this letter. When you visit the exchange, find a gentleman named Ciceroga and give it to him. He'll be happy to tell you about the markets once he's read it. In short, visit the Atterite Plaza, the Gladiators Guild, and the Sapphire Avenue Exchange. Simple. Oh, but before you go, a word of advice. While there's more than a few unsavory characters out there who'll take advantage of you, there are also some with honest-to-goodness problems you should consider offering a helping hand to. A lot of folk are lured to the city by the promise of wealth and power. But many of them fail to realize that instead of chasing after Gil the moment they get here, they ought to be making friends. Don't we all? Let it be known that you're willing to give as much as you get, and opportunities will come your way. Speaking of which, you should speak with the smith over yonder. Those lads always have some good advice for upcoming adventurers. Otherwise, that's about it from me. It's past time to get going. Oh, well, let me know when you finish, will you? That way I won't spend my days worrying that you're down to your small clothes without a guild to your name. Greetings, I am one of the smiths, a stoker of fires and forger of futures. As a dedicated member of the Adventurers Guild, I have been entrusted with the task of providing assistance to new adventurers. I see you have but recently taken up the adventurer's mantle. The possibilities stretching out before you must be positively daunting. In the Adventurers Guild, we see new adventurers as fledgling heroes. You are our champions of tomorrow, our nascent stars of limitless potential. My fellow smiths and I are here to provide you with guidance, but the guild also enlists a cadre of veteran adventurers who will be happy to share with you their accumulated wisdom. You can recognize these helpful men and women by the title of Mentor. Mentors stand ready to advise you on any aspect of adventuring. They have hundreds of quests under their belts and will likely have a solution for whatever dilemma you might be causing you for trouble. A mentor may even offer to accompany you on your ventures. I highly recommend that you take advantage of Mentor's aid to enrich your experience in Eorzea. Pray do not hesitate to ask me if you would like to know more. Attuning. Whatever that means. Hail, adventurer! Might you have come at the behest of Miss Mavudi of the Quicksand? Excellent. Which brings us to the matter of the attunement fee. That'll be 100,000 gil, if you please, sir. Apologies, but I do so relish the opportunity to make that jest. The look in your face was absolutely priceless. But the fact that you were so easily deceived suggests to me that you are unfamiliar with the use of Atterites. Allow me to explain. Here we go. These crystalline agglomerations tap into the ethereal energies and are primarily used as means to travel swiftly from one place to another. Perchance you have heard of return and teleport. Well, these teleportation spells make direct use of the aetherites and their connection to the flow of the ether. Given that there is an aetherite in almost every corner of Erzia, any adventurer with a mind to explore the realm will wish to seek out and attune himself to each and every one. But even you have no intention of wandering beyond the Sultanate's borders. It would be prudent for you to attune yourself to any aetherites you encounter from now on. I pray you found that informative. Should you wish to learn more about aetherites or transportation magic, I should be happy to answer your questions. Oh, look at the skybox. Looks pretty. Welcome to the Gladiators Guild, friend. Tell me, are you new to the thrills of Mortal Kombat? I see what you did there. Well, whether you are or not, you are new to us. If you would take your place in these hallowed halls, you must be willing and ready to undergo the most rigorous training. You must endure cuts and bruises beyond counting, and act and like not as far not worse. A daunting prospect, I concede, but there's no other way if you mean to take to the Blood Sands one day. And why wouldn't you? The Colosseum is only the most celebrated place of public entertainment in all of Ul'dah. Where else could a poor man amass a fortune so vast as to one day allow me to claim a seat on the syndicate? Ah, there's not an Ul'dan alive who isn't inspired by the rise of an self-made man. And there is no truer embodiment of this than the gladiator who wins riches and fame with his sword. Throughout its long and storied history, this guild has nurtured countless champions. Our training methods are second to none, and our members ever strive to develop new techniques. If you desire true glory, to fight and triumph midst the roar of 10,000 voices, then this is where you belong, adventurer. Think of it. Think of your legacy, and if your soul steers, join us. And you are, a newly come adventurer. But of course, yes, I am Ciceroga. What can I do for you? Ah, you would have me to teach you the ways of the marketplace. Very wise. As for my fee, what? You expect me to do it for free? Surely you jest. My dear adventurer, when you ask an Ul'dan for a favor, you should at least try to make it worth his while. Judging by your garb, I rather doubt you could afford my services. But the fact you offer nothing is laughable. Oh, Mistress Momodi instructed you to seek me out, did she? Consider yourself fortunate to have such influential friends. I shall be brief, and you shall be attentive. You stand in the Sapphire Avenue Exchange, the busiest and most profitable marketplace in the Sultanate. Being advantageously situated in relation to the other city-states, Ul'dah's markets have ever served as both the literal and figurative centers of Earzian commerce. All the great overland trade routes lead to our city, and the majority of maritime trade between Volbran and Alderaan passes through our ports. Because of this, countless companies and consortia have chosen Ul'dah as their base of operations. They see to it that this marketplace is awash with merchants and moneylenders, day and night. Anything a man could ever desire can be purchased here, provided as he has sufficient funds. Surely there's something you seek, adventurer. A deadly sword, perhaps? Or a shiny trinket? Whatever it is you want, the exchange will have it. To the north, you will find merchants peddling armor and accessories, curatives, and crafting materials. And to the south, you will find weapons, tools, and an assortment of other useful items for sale. Seek out a particular merchant or browse to your heart's content, but do try to remain aloof should you find something that piques your interest. Decisions made in the heat of the moment are usually unwise, especially where coin is concerned. That is all the complimentary aid you shall have from me, and far too much for my taste. Is it true, or would you agree that this game starts off a little slow, but it does pick up the more and more you play? Is that a true thing to say about this game?
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely.
It's gonna feel like it's gonna drag on. A Realm Reborn was probably the slowest moving storyline, just depending on how your playstyle is and how fast you go through it. But I'm gonna tell you right now, it has so much character building. That's a big part of it because it is building your character itself, and the development of everyone else around you.
Okay.
It is very slow. This first one is probably the slowest one you're gonna go through.
All right. Without spoiling anything, Devious and Sora and Hattori, just roughly around what level you think the story finally begins to pick up? And don't be afraid to be honest.
30s plus.
Really?
30?
I'd say like 50.
Yeah.
30 to 50?
30s is where it starts to pick up, but 50s is where you actually get past A Realm Reborn after that point. So you'll be going for quite a while at 50.
So, with that being said, though, Devious Hattori, without spoiling anything, can I ask you, when you were experiencing the story in certain moments, did you guys cry?
Oh, me and Sora can both attest. There's been a lot of tears that have fallen for this game.
Oh yeah, I've totally ugly cried while playing this game.
I heard Lulutsu, so you are EnioHabev. 'Tis a good, strong name. On behalf of the Gladiators Guild, allow me to welcome you. I am Milla, Guildmaster here. So you wish to study our arts. I presume you have your reasons for choosing the sword over all other weapons, Perhaps you think it is easiest to learn. A sword is a simple weapon, but to wield a blade well is anything but simple. For every Colosseum champion to emerge from our ranks, there have been countless disappointments who failed to achieve greatness. Bear that in mind before you answer me, Enio, for I do not ask this question lightly. Have you the strength to live by the sword, and if it be your fate, die by it? Have you the strength to live by the sword? Of course I do. Then welcome, Gladiator, to your new home! Let's not waste time, shall we? I would gauge your aptitude for the sword. Just outside the gates of Uda, you'll find plenty of marmots, hornets, and shrews. Slay 3 of each and return here when finished. A simple task, but essential to your training nonetheless. Now go.
And that utilizes the fates.
Alright. Welcome back, Enio. I take it you've dispatched the beast and... I take it you've dispatched the beast and with ease. Rest assured, there will be far greater challenges to come. If you wish to master the sword, you must test yourself against a wide variety of foes. To this end, I present to you this hunting log. It contains information on creatures ideal for a gladiator in training. You will doubtless gain valuable experience. You should seek out and slay them. It is only with such practice that you will recognize and eliminate the deficiencies in your technique. Your training under me shall continue once the half sits so snugly in your hand that you cannot imagine holding on else. Until then, Enio. Well, youngling, how are you finding our fine Ulda then? Got your bearings about you yet? If so, mayhap it's time you ventured beyond the city walls. The bustling streets of Old are one thing, but the wilds of Tunnelland, that's another altogether. I know a bloke you might fancy speaking to, and you. Name of Fapashan. You'll find him over at Old Dispatch Yard. No doubt he'll have some work for you. The dispatch yard's over in central Townland. Just head out the door across the hall and you'll see the gate of Null staring right back at you. Pass through it and head east. You'll come upon it for long. There's dangers beyond the wall though, more than I care to count. Nothing too terrible, thank you, mind you, but feisty enough to attack if you draw near. Don't say nobody cared enough to warn you. Well, you certainly look the part of an adventurer, my friend. Might you be the good soul nobody advised me to expect? I am Papashan, station master of this humble dispatch yard. An empty title, I assure you. I truly am no more than a tired old Lalafell passing his final years in quiet and solitude. 12 no, there have been plenty both of these last 5 years since the calamity struck. The devastation was vast. Yet now the true old Yanj work together, doing all in our power to rebuild what was laid to ruin. By the sweat of our brows and the love of our home, we have rebuilt Ul'dah to the grandeur and majesty that you see today. The railways which run through this dispatch yard, too, were born of the noble efforts of great many souls. But there is still much work to be done. The wounds left by the calamity run deep. Isolated areas beyond our lines of the supply remain, and there are places yet wanting for relief and restoration. Ul'dah needs the aid of you and your brethren, friend. In fact, never has our need had been more dire. In fact, never has our need been more dire. Which brings me to the point, I suppose. I do believe I may have some work suited to one of your ability. Halt! Sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to put the pretzel on the ground and place your hands above your head. State your name and business. A twilight pretzel from a Papashan? By the gods, forgive me. You could say this new post has my nerves in a twist. I'm terribly sorry for that. Yes, well, you may rest assured that the dispatcher is safe so long as I stand. I believe you may rest assured that the dispatch yard is safe so long as I stand watch. Please give Papashan my thanks and tell him that I only wish I could repay the favor. Western front, clear. Eastern front, clear. For me? From Papashan? A twilight pretzel? My favorite! How did he know? Can't find an empty stomach now, can I? Actually, I can't find any stomach. I suppose you could say I have no stomach. For fighting. A twilight pretzel? Don't mind if I do. Ah, now that's a refreshing god's damn pretzel. I feel reborn. All right. We're basically doing errands. Can't really complain. All right, let's go talk with Papashan again. Here we go, guys. You've returned, and with a deal for your pretzels, I see. Tell me, how fair are Sultan's sworn sentries? Did they have anything to report? Anything at all? What? Nothing? Are you sure? Oh dear. Take this for your troubles, then, and stay a moment. There is more I would ask of you. A young noblewoman from a very prestigious family has run away from home, and I've been ordered to see her A young noblewoman from a very prestigious family has run away from home, and I have been ordered to see her safe return. The Sultan sworn you met earlier were assisting with the search. Alas, it seems they have found no trace of her. I apologize for not being frank with you from the start, but we must proceed with caution. Should word of her disappearance spread, I fear others with less honorable motives may join the hunt. And should we allow her to come to any harm, not even 100 beheadings would be punishment enough. That cannot happen, Enio. It must not. I need you to help me find her. Yeah. Praise the 12! I knew I could count on you! I've instructed the others to expand the search, but Tanalan is vast, and there are only so many of us. The young noblewoman's name is Lady Lilira. I want you to go south and look for her in the vicinity of Sultan Tree. Good luck! Oh, Sultan Tree, hallowed spirit of my line, forgive my weakness. My failings have cost us dear. Crystal Bearer. I am Hydaelyn, all made one. A light there once was that shone throughout this realm, yet it has since grown dim. And as it hath faltered, so hath darkness risen upon it in its stead, presaging an end of life. For the sake of all, I beseech thee, deliver us from this fate. The power to banish the darkness dwelleth in the crystals of light. Journey forth and lay claim to them. By the deed shall the crystals reveal themselves to thee. Only believe, for the light liveth in thy heart. Go now, my child, and shine thee light on all creation. Ah, coming around now. Would you mind telling me what that was? If I only knew, a denizen of the void at any rate. The void scent? Here? But how? The question isn't how, but who. We're not dealing with bookless bandits. Don't suppose the answer came to you in a dream? No sooner did you fell the beast than you fell asleep. Too much ether, no doubt. Interesting. I hadn't considered the crystal. But of course, this changes everything. Oh, just thinking aloud. At any rate, we haven't a moment to spare, and I must return and report this at once. I leave Lady Lyra in your capable hands. How dare you pass me about like a swaddled babe? I shall return and tell them myself. As you wish, your impatiousness. I suspect we shall meet again before long. Until then, do try and stay awake. Why don't you try staying awake? Okay. So Shadow Sokar, welcome to the show. How are you doing? So, like I said, this is my very first time playing this game. Yeah, this is my very first time playing this game. And is he a sprout? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. But welcome aboard, Shadow Sokar, anybody that's still lurking. So, I did try, I kind of missed the beginning of that cutscene, so I'm gonna quickly watch that because I forgot to turn down my voice. So I forgot to turn down the voice, so hold on a second. I'm gonna quickly watch that cutscene there, what I missed at the beginning there. I'm gonna quickly watch the cutscene because I did not hear that. I unintentionally skipped a little bit of it. Okay, let me try this again. All right, I'm gonna pull it up here so I can see what I missed. Thankfully, it wasn't much though. Thank the gods you've returned. You had us all so worried. You do realize what would happen if a person of your noble stature were to be injured, or worse? Why, Her Grace the Sultana would be beside herself with grief, and so would her subjects. I dare say they'd be weeping in the streets. But I have already given you cause to weep, Papa Shan, you and the people of Ul'dah. My. Please, you're not to say such things. We will find it, I swear to you. It is not my place to make demands, my lady, but I beg you, please stay out of harm's way. I apologize for causing you your undue worry, Papa Shan. I shall refrain from traveling unescorted in the future. I cannot thank you enough, Enio. I understand you fought bravely to protect Lady Lyra from void-set fiends. Let me do that again. I understand you fought bravely to protect Lady Lyra from void-set fiends. Hey, Tancred's wife. Good to see ya. This is my attempt at reading the story, Tancred. It's good to see ya. Welcome to the show. Okay, let's continue reading this dialogue here. I'm having fun. Here we go. For your gallant service, you deserve all the riches in the royal vaults. Alas, a small token of my gratitude is the best I can offer. Yeah? A sarcastic man with a strange contraption strapped to his shoulder? That reaction that little voice I did lined up pretty good with this one. Okay, let's continue. I see you met Tancred. He's a scholar who spends his days investigating oddities in the Aether. Rather too fond of the sound of his own voice for my liking, but perfectly harmless. As for you, Enio, you're just the sort of adventure we need around here. I pray you show the same kindness to the people of Talanan as you did to us today. You're an adventurer, yes? If you're not otherwise occupied, I have a favor to ask. I've resolved to repay a debt of gratitude which I owe to the owner of the coffer and coffin. For this purpose, I purchased from the royal plantations... Oh, wait, let me do that again. For this purpose, I purchased from the royal plantations a prodigiously plump pumpkin, a particularly popular piece of produce. Alas, I cannot part this place to procure and proffer the pro-coffer. Do that again. Alas, I cannot part this place to procure and proffer the pumpkin. You see, the scheduled shipment from the Nanawana mines, for which I wait, is late. I would prevail upon you to pick up the pumpkin in my stead, and see it safely to the coffer and coffin. Present this receipt of purchase to the Gagaria at the royal plantations, and she will yield it to you. I apologize for asking you to attend to this time-consuming task, but I truly appreciate your assistance. If Sister Dua doesn't come on calling soon, this spectacular specimen shall sadly be past its prime. Oh, so you're to deliver this decadent delight. Oh, so you're to deliver this decadent delight? I can say with confidence that any gourmet would be grateful for such a grand gift. Here's the pumpkin. I hope it meets with Roger's approval. Fresh produce is somewhat scarce in these parts, and as such we're always deluged with demand. You know the way to the coffer or coffin, correct? I don't. It is beyond the bridge to the northwest. Look for a place where local laborers lounge. I wonder if they notice if I slip one of these under my tunic. Drink for your latte? You won't get better ale or spirits for your coin than at me place. It is believed that after eating pumpkin for the first time, the Sultana fell in love with the nutty flavor and ordered all her royal plantations grow the vegetable. What's that? We, Sister Doya, asked you to bring this here to me? Ha ha ha! So even that foul-mouthed drunk knows the meaning of remorse. Reckon this is for the time I carried his drink-sodden ass back home. What hell's an honest-to-God's pumpkin from the royal plantations. I can't wait to see what the cooks do after with her. The lads here scoffed down beastly amounts of meat, and it's started to tell on their health. It'll be good to get more vegetables in their bellies, assuming I can get the stubborn bastards to try something new. Thanks for the help, laddie. Well, this Black Brushes station sorely on demand. The stone torches there can't get a moment's peace. Bloke by the name Warren is hoping to bolster their numbers for a short-term assignment or two. If you fancy putting a few extra jills in your pocket, you could do a lot worse. Looking for work, perchance? If so, you couldn't have come at a better time. We stone torches are sellswords hired by a Magina and Sons mineral concern to protect its interests. Our primary duty here is to keep the tracks clear of pests, and it is for this purpose that we require your aid. I should point out, however, that it can be messy work, and liable to get messier still if you are ill prepared. A single piece of gear can mean the difference between life and death. I'll not have it on my conscience that I sent an ill-equipped adventurer to an untimely demise. See it to it that your arms and armor are in order. When you're ready, present yourself to me again. So, are you ready for inspection? By the gods, man! However in the seven hells did you survive the Antlings equipped as poorly as you are? I can good conscience send you to face savage beasts until your gear is in order. Good! Everything appears in order. Yet, now that naught is guaranteed is in this world. Fate is a fickle mistress, after all. At any rate, capable adventurers like you are few and far between, and I would not have you throw your life away. I've had to bury too many comrades who brush aside cracks in their hauberks and dents in their helms. No matter what you face, do not disregard the importance of gear. Thank you so much for the help, Sokar, and the rest of those guys in the free company that just invited me today. You guys are great. So, All right, stay safe, everyone, and have a fun time. All right, later, everyone.